2, he gives one 5, and he gives another 1. And the question would be, what did they do with it? And the question would be, for a 21st century believer, what are you doing with what God has given you? Now, the master returns from a long journey to collect and see what they have done. The master comes in, and to the one that he has given the 5 talents, what have you done? He's excited. I took what you gave me and I sold it, and where I only had 5, now, master, you have 10. The master looks at him and he says, well done, thou good and faithful servant. Come on over on my side of living and enjoy the lifestyle that I'm living. The one that had 2, what have you done with what I've given you? What have you done with what I've allowed you to be the steward over? He looks at him and he says, I gave it all I had. Can you say I gave it all I had? I gave it all I had. And where you gave me 2, I've doubled it. He looks at him. Get this. He looks at him and he says the same thing that he said to the one that had 5. Now, when I looked at that, it kind of caught my attention, church. We think that if we do this and do this and do that and do this and then do that, that God is going to love us more than somebody that's just doing that one thing. And so subsequently, we tend to adapt that attitude and mindset that causes us to believe that we are saved by works and that we will gain the favor of God by the works. But look at how balanced it is. The same guy that had 2 talents was told the same thing that the guy that had 5 was told. Well done, thou good and faithful servant. You've been faithful. You took what I gave you, you worked it. And so now, come on up and enjoy the life that I'm living. You did what you should have done with what I made you the steward over.
They worked it on their level.
They worked it on their level.
They were excellent on that level.
The one that was given 1. Well, I guess he worked it on his level too. Because let me tell you something. Gifting and opportunity will show you where you are. It'll show you what you're really made of. You gave me 1 little talent, and you gave them 5, and you gave them 2, and all you gave to me is 1. So I had a problem with that. I had a problem, Master, with looking at the inequity that took place before me. I had a problem, Master, feeling that you are not really as concerned about me as you are the others because you gave them more than what you gave to me. And so the master looks at him.
With him saying that to the master, today, would I be saying to God, I don't think you need me, so I'm going to do what I want to do? I don't think you need me, because he said to the master, you can gather where you don't even sow. In other words, you can just go and get it, just speak it, and it's just come to pass. So I just felt like I didn't really need to work. He was kind of insulting him. He was kind of, insulting. Am I insulting God today? Am I insulting God?
It's something that we should consider. am I insulting God by not taking what he has given me and working it to my fullest potential? So the servant that has the one, what is his problem? What is troubling him? Why is it that he could not take what God had given him, take what the master had given him, multiply it, and make it become more than what it was? Whenever you take what God has put in you, hear me, the seed of potential that God has placed in you, whenever you take that seed and you cultivate it, then there's not just one stem that comes up out of it, but it's many things. Many things. It grows into many things. You ever seen people in business and it seems like they keep recreating themselves? One minute they have a talk show, and the next minute you see them hosting somebody else's show, and the next thing you know they have their own network. They just keep recreating themselves. They are taking the potential, they are taking the seed that the master has given them. They did not bury it in the ground, but they are cultivating it, and all of these limbs keep sprouting. What's in you? So what is wrong with this man in this text?
He had one problem.
Everything that all the other slaves were exposed to, he was exposed to. So what is it? Can I challenge you on this Lord's Day with this thing here? It is called the fear factor. All this potential in me, all this greatness in me, God is requiring of me to move and to go forward and be what he has designed me to be, but I'm afraid. I'm afraid. When I wake up in the morning, there's something crying out on the inside of me that you are greater than where you are. The job that you're working on right now, yeah, it's a good job, and it's getting the bills paid, but that's all it's doing. Ain't no extra. I'm living from paycheck to paycheck, and something on the inside of me is saying there's a better position for you somewhere. There's another pay scale that I want to put you on, but you got to do something. But because I am afraid, I sit there and I do nothing. It is a fear factor. What am I afraid of? I'm afraid that if I step out and try to pursue it, I'm going to be rejected. I'm afraid that if I step out in this 21st century and start this business that I know God is saying start, that it's going to go good for a while, and then it's going to die. So I'm afraid I have the fear of failure. And if you allow the fear of failure to grip you, you won't go back and get that degree. If you allow the fear of failure to overtake you, you will forever live from paycheck to paycheck. Why would I choose to live from paycheck to paycheck when God has said to me that 2014 would be my year of unlimited possibilities, which means that God is taking the limits off of what I'm going to make in 2014. So will I rather focus in on the fact that I might fail, or would I rather focus in on the fact that God is standing by my side? And if God is standing by my side, and if God has ordained me to be this or that or whatever, then if I just step out on faith to present God the faith that he needs to work on my behalf, where this thing was just a little seed, I'm going to start to see things sprout up simply because God said it can. The fear of failure. We cannot, as believers, live and walk in the fear of failure.
Pastor, that's why we have to continue to pray and ask God. Whenever God gives you an opportunity, just don't sit back and say, well, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do this. I remember when I was given an opportunity 13 years ago to start a new job after being in the medical field for 19 years. And I was wondering what God was doing, shifting me to another job after doing this for 19 years. And this other job that I was shifted to had no knowledge of it at all. But listen, I didn't stop there. I started praying. I started going to the Wednesday prayer every Wednesday. I was like, God, I have no idea what I'm doing on this job. And the person that hired me, she had to move so quickly, so she didn't have time to really train me. So every day, every night, I was praying, God, even while I was on the job, I said, God, what am I supposed to do here? What am I supposed to do here? And let me tell you, when you go after God, if God has given you something and you start going after God, no, not going after man, but start going after God, God will give you, he will tell you what to do. First, he told me, he said to get a journal and journal everything you do, everything, every phone call you make, just everything you do. And I'm like, I don't know why I'm doing this. But then later on, about a month later, the owner said, I need to know everything you have done. I said, what? Here's my journal right here. I got it right here. I'm telling you, if you go after God, when God gives it to you, go after God, and God won't allow you to fail.
Now, as she was talking, I saw this. That it was a tight place for you. It was a quick transition. The person that was going out did not have the time to train her adequately. God will allow you to get in a tight position so that he can show you what's down on the inside of you. He will allow you to get in a tight position so that he can show you that he's walking by your side. You may not have the education. You may not quite have the know-how. But if you got the Spirit of God abiding on the inside, he's all-seeing. He's all-knowing. And he's all powerful. And if you sit there and commune with him, he'll give you the plan. He'll give you the strategy that will help you do the job that you need to do. But you got to trust him. I dare you to throw your hands in the air and say, God, I trust you. God, I trust you when it don't look like it. God, I trust you when it don't feel right. God, I trust you when they turn me down. God, I trust you when I try over and over and it seems like it's not working. I'm going to come back and try you just one more time because I've got the faith to believe that in just a little while, he shall come, will come, and will not tarry. You cannot afford to walk around in fear because fear will stunt your growth. It will cause you not to cultivate and develop the gifting that God has placed inside of you.
It will cause you to just stop dead in your tracks. You become stagnated. You become stuck. You can't move. You become paralyzed. But I serve notice on the enemy today that we're going to the release of our Pharaoh today. I come to serve notice on him because I see people with great potential and they'll sit back and they just get stuck in it. It's like, oh my God, what do they do? They get stuck. But God is saying, if you could just release that fear and know that